Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Harness the Future with AI presentation today. My name is Ben Grumian. I will be your MC today, running this show, and really appreciate you all taking some time out of your day to join us here on what has been our most popular webinar we have ever done in the history of Davenport Group. So you're here to witness this, and we're really excited that you're here with us today. We've got a lot of people. Like I said, so we're going to take some time, let everybody get in here, give a few minutes there to wrap up their lunches, or maybe set up their lunches to sit back and listen to myself and others. We have some fantastic guest speakers that are going to be talking here today. We know there's going to be tons of questions, and we are definitely welcoming all the questions. Speaking of that, I want to open it up, get your minds going, get you thinking, because that's what this event is all about. But I like to ask some questions when we do these webinars. What are some things that have happened on this day in history? That's just like how I like to start these off. And we're going to start the first with kind of a sad one. But in this day in 2020, this event happened, and it was a sad day, especially for basketball. Who wants to answer what happened on this day in 2020 that has to deal around basketball? You can put answers in the chat. You can come off mute, whatever you want to do. Yep. Walt knew it. Walt knew it out there. Yeah, this day in 2020, Kobe Bryant died from a helicopter crash, and obviously a sad day for basketball. Next one is obviously a lighter note. Here in 1961, a legendary Disney film was released. Who knows that one? 1961. I can't believe it was released that long ago, because no. Not right, Jackson.
I think it's amazing how well those Disney films have aged still.
Absolutely. And Madeline, our former Disney employee that is now on Davenport Group, is the one that nailed it. So good job, Madeline, with 101 Dalmatians. And if you watch that now with your kids, you may want to warn them. It's a little scary. It's a little crazy. But in 1961, it's a different time, different way of approaching some stuff, killing dogs and such. So getting into this, I think we're ready to really get this kicked off. And again, appreciate everybody taking some time out of your day. I know in prepping for this webinar, I learned a lot. And so I can't imagine how excited you all are to be here to get a little bit of grips on Microsoft 365, Copilot, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. But first, I'd like to introduce our presenters that are going to be talking. First, my name is Ben Grumian. I'm a senior account executive here at Davenport Group. Been with Davenport Group for almost 11 years, tons of experience here. And I imagine I see some familiar names that are joining on here today. You've heard me speak before, and really excited to have you a part of the conversation today. We also have another two folks from the Microsoft team. First is going to be Eric. Eric, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Still on mute, Eric.
Can you hear me all right? Yep. Yes. I think I can hear myself finally. Eric Bomalero here. Been with Dell for about 7 years before joining forces with Microsoft, and we pretty much handle everything under the sun when it comes to OEM Microsoft, and we're happy to be working with Davenport right
now. We also have Nate Cates. Nate, you want to give a little introduction?
Absolutely. My name's Nate Cates. I support Dell fully as a Microsoft technology specialist. I've been with Dell for almost 15 years now, and in this presentation, I also learned a lot, even though I've already interfaced with customers about it. So thanks for the opportunity to let me come speak to you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so You're not only going to have myself that's going to be manning the chat here, you're also going to have Nate and Eric manning the chat because we know there's going to be a lot of questions. So let's get into the agenda of what we're covering here today. The first thing that we're going to talk about is, hey, who is Davenport Group? Now, we have a number of people that have worked with Davenport Group on here before, but we also have some folks that don't know who we are. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to dive right into Microsoft 365 Copilot 101. And so the whole reason for that is really to just get your mind going, get a good overview, high-level understanding, and then we'll go into more details and follow-up conversation. I'm also going to talk about our Microsoft services capabilities, go over that at length, and including helping you out with MyCloud or Copilot. And then I'm also going to talk about our MyCloud portal, show you a little demo of what that looks like. The whole piece of this is we want a lot of participation here. You know, we're expecting a lot of participation. We're expecting a lot of questions. And I can guarantee you, Tim, if you've got a question, 10 other people that are listening in on here today are going to have a question. So I really recommend you ask those questions. But let's get into Davenport Group. So who are we? We are a full-scale IT solution provider. That means that we can help you out from any solution. I like to say, you know, from mouse to the cloud. And now we're really talking a lot about cloud today and the emergence and capabilities with Copilot. But you can see the solutions that we focus on, from data center infrastructure, networking, storage, client, all those pieces. But then we have a complete team or multiple teams of engineers that can help out with really anything around services, around Microsoft services. I'll go into detail around that, security services, data center services, networking, wherever we can help you out there. And the biggest piece and what I love about working here at Davenport Group is that we focus solely on the relationship with our customers. That means that we're not only going to help you out with that hyperconverged infrastructure solution or that data protection solution, we're going to help you out with the Microsoft piece. We're going to help you out and just continue to work with the same people over and over again to help your organization thrive and really embrace technology and use it as its fullest. And you're seeing a part of that today. And what we're doing here is, you know, this is just simply educating our customers, educating our potential customers on what their capabilities can be with Microsoft 365 Copilot. But you're going to see that in working with Davenport Group, you're going to get the warm and fuzzies there of working with the same organization, working with people that really know what they're doing over and over again. Like I said, I have 20 plus years experience in this field, and I just love helping out customers over and over again. So what I want to do here is really turn it over to Eric and Nate to show you Microsoft 365 Copilot 101. But I also just want to remind you, ask questions along the way. Feel free to come off mute if you've got a question, come on camera if you've got a question, raise your virtual hand if you've got a question, put it in the chat. We have all these different options. We want to try to get as many of those questions answered here and now because we've got some great folks on here helping us out. So I would like to turn it over to Eric. I'll let you take it from here.
All right. Thanks so much, Ben. I appreciate that. And again, to reiterate, I've been a trainer for almost 10 years. So I am used to people coming off of mute and interrupting me for any type of questions. So I welcome anything that you might have. The first thing that I wanted to talk about here is just what is AI. We hear that term a lot, and it can just be passed around. And you know, you start to think about it as something that is just normal, right? So in layman's terms, AI or artificial intelligence can be used to define as a branch of computer science that can simulate human intelligence, and that can be the ability of a computer. I guess a robot now too. That's kind of scary if you're a Terminator fan. And it can be used to perform tasks that are commonly associated with intelligent beings, like learning, reasoning, problem solving, and using language. So where does this fall in line with Copilot? Copilot is basically just an AI-powered assistant that works all across all of the applications and experiences of Microsoft. We basically use large language models, or LLMs, and these are just learning models that use natural language processing that both put text inputs and outputs to help you in your productivity. Microsoft Graph, this is where your data is going to be stored and saved. It's just a REST API, which is an application programming interface that is used to interact with data in Microsoft 365. And you can even use this data to build applications and things like that. You can go to graph.microsoft.com to learn more about that. And then obviously this takes us to our productivity apps and everything that we tend to use on a day-to-day basis. These are all pieces of Microsoft Office. So if you think about what you see with Office, everything here we're using to do our day-to-day tasks as workers, as managers, etc. And AI is going to help us be more productive and do things quicker than what we normally would be doing. I know I myself have spent several hours generating a PowerPoint presentation. So all of these things are designed to help you do things quicker and easier. So just take a look at each one of them. When we talk about Word, we're able to create drafts from other documents on the fly. It will take the document and create another one with different information in the same form that you might like it, or it might take that content to form new content from what you already have just to generate something new, maybe some more information that you might not have had. It also can take a picture and go out and find what that picture is and give you information about it. I saw this done with a recipe. It was a picture of a recipe. They put it in there and it went and found what that was and gave several different recipes for it. So really awesome stuff with Word. Excel. How many of you guys have ever sat in Excel trying to figure out the correct calculation or something like that? Well, this will help you create those calculations, create tables and things that you might need to do in there, and highlight charts and just information that you want to present to anybody within that Excel spreadsheet. PowerPoint, we can create single slides. Hey, I need a 5-word slide on this topic made from this documentation. It'll create full PowerPoint presentations from other documents. So you use Word, you create a new document and you say, well, I want to present this. I don't want to just read it to somebody on the screen. Well, we can create a PowerPoint from those documents. It can even include speaker notes and also condense long presentations. We've all seen those PowerPoints with 12 million words and 600 slides. Well, it can create smaller condensed versions of that from longer PowerPoints. In Outlook, it'll summarize emails when you're away. It can create email responses. You can even create invites for specific team members and people on there. It is very helpful to do that because I know I have spent upwards of 30 minutes trying to craft the perfect response to somebody. And with Graph, it will actually start to learn how you do things and what to use going forward. And then lastly, we're talking about
on the Outlook piece.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
With Outlook and Copilot, would it possibly be able to be used to understand like email information and like make rules better than just a standard rule set, or is that not possible?
Absolutely, yeah. You can do a lot of different things within Outlook. It's going to even create the summary from those rules if you'd like. So just put all those emails in a specific place, and then you'll have the summarized emails, especially when you're away. And we know we've taken a week vacation and come back to 5,000 emails that you have to sift through. So yes, it's going to do a lot of those things better.
And that was a great question, Jeffrey. Right? Is that Jeffrey Johnson?
Yes.
Thank you. That's actually a great question, because just about all of you use Outlook, right? Even things like putting together a template to send out, and depending on which departments you're sending that to, Copilot can help with all of that too. It just makes things a lot simpler.
So we have a question in the chat from Michael Williams. How is Copilot accessed in Word and Excel? So once you have access to Copilot, you will see a button that is going to be on each of those applications, and you can just click that to use the Copilot. You can actually check this out with a phone app. There is a Microsoft Copilot phone app that you can use to do specific things. And if you have Bing, there is a preview edition in there as well.
And I'm making assumptions you can manage the availability of that for organization through, Azure or anything like that?
It's going to be all managed through your regular portal through 365. Everything will be right there.
Okay, cool.
Much easier. And we had another question there.
Before we get too far off of Outlook, let me just ask this real quick, just so I understand
absolutely.
what you were talking about when you said that when you come back from vacation, there's 5,000 emails and it will summarize the emails for you. And so a use case would be, we have a network monitor that sends us email alerts, giving us the status of the network. I get 2,000 of those. It'll summarize those and say, well, on such and such day, it looks like there was a network outage. Is that kind of what you're talking about there? I'm not sure I fully understand what you mean by summarize.
So in essence, if you have a bunch of emails that come in, you can set it to say, hey, I want to know what some of these emails do, or what was in those emails and what people are asking, and things like that. So with that said, it basically will supercharge any sort of productivity that way by reading those emails, providing data points, transcripts, summarizations, etc., and giving you the ability to thumb through those a lot faster. Now, in terms of the specifics on that, I'm not terribly sure without being able to set that rules up myself. So does that help answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Now, the one cool thing about it is all the Copilot pieces in each of these productivity apps are designed to learn new skills. And it does that by the Microsoft Graph and the information that you have that is stored on a partition that is held in-house. So eventually, if you needed it to do something very specific to your organization or what you're doing, it will be able to do that because it is grounded in your business data. Great questions, y'all. Anything else?
Yeah, I love it. I think we were gonna show a specific one with Teams. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to take a look at a specific example. Basically, what this is we are looking at an example of something that might happen, and this Teams will help you do this. So essentially, let's say you're double booked. You have something with a customer, very important call with a customer, and you have a weekly business review at the same time. So what this will allow you to do is do both. So if you look at the next slide, what this is it allows you to follow a specific meeting based off of the organizer and things like that. What you see here is, hey, we have a core accounts business review. This is for a specific time. You can click follow this meeting. So from there, once the meeting has concluded, it will give you a notification that the recap has finished. And if you look at this here, and say, hey, here's a recap of a missed meeting, the core accounts business review. So what this allows you to do is it will show you the content that is shared. You can see that there's a video, there's a summary, there's notes, and everything that you might want to be privy to, especially providing action items and a transcript.
what I love about this, Nate, is we've all been in those meetings or Teams calls, especially, in the last few years, where we're like, this could have just been an email.
Oh,
and
man.
It literally puts it in an email now.
Every day, right?
Yeah, it does it for you and applies that meeting that you were double booked, double booked on that one, but it puts it in this form where you're like, okay, cool. That was all I needed from that meeting. That was all the useful information. That's great. I wish I could
love that call out.
I wish I could have had something like this in my college classes. I'm aging myself like 20 years ago, but still, it would have been amazing to just be able to actually pay attention and not have to write notes, just having something write notes for me while I'm trying to pay attention. That's where I can see this.
It makes a big difference too, because if you, like us, we're always double booked, right? If we're giving a training right now, we could have been in another meeting right now at the moment. And if you did miss it and Copilot took that for you, instead of going back to whoever was leading that meeting or anything like that, you just ask Copilot. Right, you chime in with Copilot. What things did they go over? What are some key points? You're asking Copilot instead of going back and interrupting whoever was giving that meeting in the first place. So it's pretty neat.
So you just go into Teams. Once you've had this applied, you go into Teams and click like follow that meeting. Because if we get this turned on at Davenport Group, I'm turning this on.
Yes.
Yeah, because it'll connect to Outlook. So you'll get the invites via Outlook, but it'll connect to Teams and say, hey, we're going to follow this meeting.
Okay.
So if you look, it comes from the calendar on here, but it still is done within Teams itself.
Fantastic.
All right. So from that, you see something you want to focus on. Let's say it's one of your customers that was talked about. You can actually ask Copilot clarifying questions. Here, what other customers were considered? What about my customer here? You can see Samantha Contrell. And you can even ask it other questions like what other solutions were discussed. And these are all things that will provide updates on things that you specifically want to know or learn about. And it'll provide a detailed response. So from there, you could get it provides you a transcript with the information and will highlight points from that summarization. So if you want specific price points or solutions or things like that, like it's showing here in this example, it'll provide you those meeting points so you can see the context of it from the transcript. So this is something that is very useful and can be used in a lot of different ways. Any questions on how this works so far?
Open the floodgates. Here's a question.
Yeah, any questions, get them out now. And in fact, we're talking about more Copilot 365 at the moment. There's different Copilots, right? So it can get confusing. You guys feel free to ask your questions. I know you guys can even go on to Bing and test out Copilot through that right now, just to see, just minor features through the search engine, and you guys can experience what Copilot has to offer.
Right.
So I had a question. Not sure. Sorry if you hit on this whenever that popped up. That previous slide. Could you go back to that one real quick? The architected to protect data. So being like a health organization, if I were to use Copilot in our health organization's, inner environment, if protected client data is in any of the things like Word, Excel, whatever, how is that? Are you guys like HIPAA protected for this kind of stuff as well? Like, how does that work with medical stuff?
So Copilot 365 is attached. Basically, it's an add-on to your current M365, whether you guys have an E3 or an E5. So whatever protections that you currently have set up in your 365 at the moment, it will carry on over to Copilot. So if you guys were HIPAA certified and everything like that in your 365, all those same things carry over to Copilot. Can you still customize it on top of that? Yes, your IT can still add more securities to that and make sure it doesn't go in certain places, but it will mirror what you currently have.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's one of the biggest points to this, is because when you using a lot of the AI apps that you can go out and find, you never know where the data is going to go. And like Eric said, all of your data is going to be under the same security and compliance that you already have with Windows 11, Windows Server, and M365. Basically, the way it works is it's going to be stored on a separate partition, and it's not going to be able to be accessed by outside entities at all. So the sysadmin who will manage this can identify anything that they need to and delete what they don't want to be used and keep what they do want to be used. And that's all at the discretion of that sysadmin. And like I said before, it's designed to learn new skills. So it uses this data to process and perform things that you use on a day-to-day basis and tailor that experience to your needs.
Okay, yeah, I was just making sure because of, like you said, it learns all the time. Wasn't sure what data it uses to learn to then pass along to the rest of the Microsoft AI, brain portion to improve AI in general for all of the customers. I assume it does something like that, but
correct.
Just want to make sure that no PHI type information could get leaked that way for any reason.
Correct. Yes, it still will be able to find information that is out there on the web based off of different engines like ChatGPT-4, what is that, Wall-E or something like that. And it's going to use those engines for data. However, anything that is customized to your specific data and usage, it's going to be held in-house.
Good, thanks.
Good question.
So lastly, basically what this boils down to is that all of this is at the forefront of innovation. We're trying to make everything that you do better and easier so that you can spend time doing things that you need to do instead of trying to craft an email, create a PowerPoint, or sit there with Excel calculations. One of the things that I wanted to point out as to how big this is going to be, how many of you guys remember the Windows button and when it started to be added to keyboards?
Is that a this day in history question?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it was probably not something that you knew that this was the specific date, but all of a sudden, any keyboard that you purchased going forward had this Windows button for quick keys and doing specific things within Windows. Well, it was announced recently that they are going to start using a Copilot button on systems in the near future, just like they did with the Windows button. So if we're starting to change keyboards and hardware for these things, you can definitely tell that this is something that's going to be very important going forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. What other questions do you have for us?
Yeah, I like that one, Jimmy. Bring back Clippy the paperclip for sure. That's what this should be, the icon for Copilot, maybe. As a fun icon. But any other questions? Oh yeah. Any other questions for Eric or Nate before we get into some of our other items?
Actually, yes, I do have one. Sorry.
Yes,
so I've been hearing things about the basically Copilot. There's the base model. I apologize. I just lost my headphones.
We got you. We can still hear you.
Yep.
Okay. So basically, I've been hearing a lot of chatter about cost and everything like that. Obviously, everybody in the company doesn't need it and stuff like that. So I mean, implementing it across 100 people. But there's obviously the kind of Copilot that just showed up on Windows 11 and Excel and Word. And then the purchase version. Now, I've been hearing that there's actually going to be there was the data usage that that Microsoft was talking about, and I think they did away with that. Are you guys aware of licensing for it, pricing, just very approximate?
Yeah, so as of right now, it is an add-on to your already M365 subscription. I don't know the specific price offhand, but it is an extra charge. This was only released last month for our E3 and E5 customers with a specific number of agreements. Now they have actually added it to non-agreements. So a lot of your volume licensing agreements will be included in this. And eventually it will start to roll out to other entities or other specific terms of that. And eventually it'll just be available for, normal consumer 365 on Office products.
Yeah, I think the M365 Copilot right now is, if you were to go through Microsoft and get that, it's an add-on to your E3 E5 plan, and it's about $30 a month, but you get better pricing if you go annual, right? And I saw somebody put in there $360 annual, right, per user.
Yeah, I've been hearing the $20 range, 20 per person per month, so right in that range.
So depending on who you get your licensing through, of course, Dell, you get deep discounts there as well, right? Davenport, deep discounts there, and they're all certified. On top of that, I mean, it depends on where you're getting your support from too. So Davenport, you guys are just known for your support. So you're in good hands with Davenport. They sell everything here that you guys need. You guys can get it through their licensing specialists.
Got it. Thank you.
So the specifics are business standard, business premium, E3, E5, Office 365, E3 and E5 as of right this second.
Correct.
And I think we have a question from Shadow.
Yeah, I had a question about that physical Copilot button. That's not intended to replace the Windows key, right?
No, it's going to be in addition to. Yeah.
Good.
I know we're so used to using that. It would be a travesty if they did, right?
Yeah. Especially that Alt tab. You don't want to replace that.
It's Clippy trying to resurface.
I believe what they're going to do is either replace the right control button or put it right next to that.
It looks like it's either that or replacing the right Windows button. I was just looking it up.
Yeah, so
but
somewhere
as long
on
as
that
I still
side.
have a Windows key.
Oh, absolutely. There's
we
too
all
many
use
things that we do with that Windows key.
We all use the left Windows key anyway, so I don't even know anybody who uses the right one.
That was probably the discussion of Microsoft as to why they put it on that side.
Exactly. It's like we all have our favorite burner on the stove.
Yes.
So something I noticed, I was logging into the portal, in my portal, just to look at pricing. I have a pop-up like this. I don't know if other customers will also get that pop-up. This might be a more question for the Davenport Group specifically, whether or not. I don't want to click accept yet. I assume we might have to talk to you guys or our vendor of whoever about that.
That's definitely something I'll go over really on the next slide.
Cool.
Good transition there, Jeff. I appreciate you setting me up there as always. But yeah, let's get into some of the Microsoft services that Davenport Group can handle here, and then also dive a little bit deeper into what you want to think about when you want to adopt Copilot into your O365 platform. But we do really it all when it comes to Microsoft services, and I've been doing this for 20 years. There's never been a better organization to work with if you need anything Microsoft, whether that's Exchange, moving O365, Azure AI, all of these that you're seeing on here on the screen, and including security audits. So we highlight that because that's something you're going to want to talk to us or talk to somebody before you really implement Copilot into your organizations. I think Jeff at the beginning was asking, hey, we're a healthcare provider, we have regulations, we have policies. I want to make sure that stuff carries on to Copilot as well, and we're putting our arms around that. That's where our team of Microsoft team engineers, and then also our security engineers, can come and have that collaborative conversation with you to educate you on the things you need to do, or just set them up to best practices. However you want us to work with you. Those that have worked with us before know we'll do as much or as less of the services of what you need. But you also know that we've got the best in the business when it comes to Microsoft services, best in the business when it comes to security services. And when I know a lot of people's minds are spinning right now thinking, how can I use this? How can I integrate it into our organization? How can I impress, somebody in the office of all these things that you can do with it? But you need to make sure that it's all, when you have these new capabilities, new features, new toys, you need to make sure that security is at the core of what you're thinking about when you're implementing some type of new solution that is revolutionary. This is the first dip of it into your Microsoft org, but you just need to make sure that you have all the security parameters set up there, because you don't want to introduce something that could harm your organization. And that's where our team of Microsoft engineers and security engineers can come in and really help and advise you on how to adopt this. Ethan, I think, has a question there about HIPAA compliance. Eric or Nate?
Oh, hey, I'm sorry about that. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes. So for the HIPAA compliancy, if you guys are currently using it, because Copilot is tied, it's actually it's an add-on license tied to your M365, E3, E5, or whatever it is. If you have a G plan, which that's coming out soon. So if you're HIPAA compliant there, whatever securities you currently hold in your 365, that will be mirrored over to your Copilot as well. So it'll follow all the same securities and rules. I hope that kind of answers your question there.
Yeah, I think that does. But if, this whole conversation and what we're educating on you today, it's all about, hey, get Davenport Group involved to talk to you more in depth on how Copilot can be utilized in your specific organization. We showed you the Teams things, which we all appreciate that, turn in a meeting into notes and not having to attend that meeting. But there's so much more that you can do with this that could be specific for your organization. And that's the reason, we'll be following up with you. Your account executive in your area will be following up with you. See if you want to have more in-depth conversations with Eric, me, the team, or any of our Microsoft engineers or security engineers to go specifically in your organization and how we can help.
Absolutely, especially when it comes to implementing 365, implementing cloud, things like that. I mean, I've worked for Dell for many years. I'm still tied to Dell, right? I am Microsoft tied to Dell. But I know when I was in services at Dell, I know Davenport, they're known for their services, especially when it comes to implementation, to deployment. So reach out to your services person, your AE, whatever that might be. You guys are in good hands in setting all this up and getting you guys started with Copilot. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, we'll follow up on our Microsoft services, how we can help out there. But let me tell you a little bit about another piece here, and actually how you, for those that are already set up on MyCloud portal, can get Copilot right now. Some folks may have seen this, some folks may have not, but this is MyCloud portal. And this is Davenport Group, where we have a portal specific for your organization, where you can go in and purchase Microsoft licensing and subscriptions. And I'm going to guide you through what it looks like. It's a regular online ordering portal, but it can be customized to your organization. So the first thing I want you to look into here is our catalog. And so that's just that first icon that looks like a book, where you can just simply open up the catalog. Now, this demo environment shows everything. So you're going to see SLED, state and local government, you're going to see commercial, you're going to see charity all in here. But you can go in there and actually search for something that you want to look for or purchase on the catalog. And actually, we're going to search up Copilot and see if we can find that in the catalog. And boom, there it is. I think Jeff went on his MyCloud portal and looked it up and saw that message on there. But Copilot is available right now. But if you're looking for E3 or a Windows Server Cal or a remote desktop Cal, you can purchase that all through this MyCloud portal. And again, we'll be following up with each and every one of you. We can tell you how we can set this up for your specific organization, be your CSP, and help you out with all your Microsoft licensing here. A new tab that has come on into the MyCloud portal here recently is the order history, where you can actually just, pretty self-explanatory, but it's a history of all your orders that you've done on the MyCloud portal. So you're able to see that and see who placed what order and historicals around there. But another piece is subscriptions. Now, when you have subscriptions like E1, E3, we've talked a lot about them that are out there right now. You're able to go into your MyCloud portal and edit those subscriptions up or down. If your boss walks into your office or somebody from HR says, "Hey, we've got 5 people starting today. They need an email today." You can go into the MyCloud portal, increase your whatever subscriptions, add them, and click next. And then once you place that order on the MyCloud portal, within minutes, it shows up on your actual O365 admin portal. So you can then go in and assign those to those new users on your environment. There's no more of that, hey, I need to get a quote from my software provider, wait to get that quote, come back, get approvals, place that order for that quote, and then wait a few days for that license to show up on my O365 admin portal. Here through the MyCloud portal, you're able to do all that in minutes, and it show up pretty much whenever you alt tab over to your O365 tab, it'll be on there ready to assign and ready to put it on there. Another subscription that you can get through the MyCloud portal is Azure subscriptions. So you may have workloads in Azure right now. You may be looking into putting workloads in Azure, and it has its own Azure admin portal where you manage and maintain that, but it can sometimes be a little difficult finding reporting on what you're actually using within your Azure admin or within your Azure portal. And so through the MyCloud portal, you're able to actually see how you're utilizing your Azure workloads. You can even put tags or categories on your Azure workloads to start differentiating. Hey, these Azure workloads are for accounting. These are for marketing. These are for operations. And if you have those many workloads sitting in your Azure tenant, you're able to actually get reporting, generate a month-over-month reporting, and really start showing where your Azure costs are going. I think we have another slide on this too, just to show how you can drill down into that. Now, this is a demo slide on here, so the numbers are very, very small. We have a few VMs running in our demo center in Azure, but this can just show you the simplified reporting you're able to get and provide when you're in that board meeting, when you're in that IT planning meeting, when somebody's saying, "Hey, why is our Azure bill so big?" You can say, "Well, because this and this and this are chewing up all our workloads in there and costing us that much money." And then you start taking from those folks' budgets rather than IT's budget, right? The last tab that is on the MyCloud portal is going to just simply be a contact us tab, and that's going to have just our operations team. So if you have any issues with MyCloud portal, if you're not seeing some subscription that you want on there or so forth, you have a way to contact us. But again, you can reach out to your account team here at Davenport Group. We would love to show you what you can do with the MyCloud portal. We would love to show you what you can do with Copilot. We would love to help you out with any type of Microsoft services that may be needed, because there is nobody better in the US to help you out with this than Davenport Group. And so with that, I am going to kind of wind it down here. I'll open it up to questions, but if you do meet up with us, and we want to get you entered in to win a Solo Stove Bonfire Backyard Bundle. Try to say that fast. But just as a thank you for meeting with us as a follow-up meeting, either scoping out some solution, implementing Microsoft Copilot within your organization, talk to us about any type of other Microsoft services that we can be helping out with. We want to thank you by entering you in for a chance to win this backyard bundle stove. I've used one of these at a buddy's house, and it's pretty awesome. Gets very hot very quickly, and it is just a really easy kind of backyard stove to work with, and it's very, very smoke I wouldn't say smoke free, but very less smoky, because the way it's designed, it burns up. So I encourage you to meet with your account executive in your area that will be reaching out to you as a follow-up to see if we can help you out with something around Microsoft, or just anything around IT. Like I said, we're that full scale IT solution provider and can help out with that. So I'll pause here, maybe go a slide back, and just open it up to any questions that we have for the whole panel here, whether it's around Microsoft, whether it's around Davenport Group, whether it's around anything out there on your mind.
Got a question about, so looking at it, in order to utilize Copilot, you'll have to be on an NBE model of pricing. Is that correct?
You would have to, yeah, you would have to be part of a CSP for the 365. So going through Davenport Group, you would have to have a E3 or E5 M365. Do you guys currently have that?
Well, yeah, but like the new business experience, like the way the licensing works, like you have to be MBE in order to take advantage of this, like with the rest of your products, or is it only the Copilot thing that's MBE if you start to use it? Because like what I'm talking about is you can reduce your license count for things on the fly, but with new business experience, you have to only do it at like a yearly thing, right?
I think he's talking about the NCE.
NCE, sorry.
Piece. Yeah, new customer experience.
Yeah, the billing where it's yearly versus monthly, be able to modify. And I thought I was reading from whenever I was clicking on it that I might have to change to that for things. Is that correct, or am I just not understanding well?
You don't have to, but I mean, it is something if you want to go for the annual route, right? That is available through Davenport as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I can look into your specific ask there, Jeff, and follow up with you. Obviously, Jeff and I work together a bunch, if y'all can't tell. Shadow, I think you got another question.
Yeah, I was going to be kind of I'm not sure how to ask this. So we've been looking into using AI to kind of analyze some of our customer data and help us build reports that we're already doing, but quicker. And I know that you can, correct me if I'm wrong, with like Copilot Studio, you can ingest, company data in there, right? And it's secure. But there's also Azure OpenAI, which we've got a Copilot built for our company, but we also have an Azure OpenAI, and I struggle with which one I need to be using for, like, what's the pros and cons for Azure AI Studio versus Copilot Studio. Are there situations like, do I need to be investigating both of these, or should I just stick with one solution?
That itself, I mean, I think because Copilot is the new wave, right? It's meant to take over all that, including the Azure, but the Azure AI portion anyway. But that's going to be a little bit too technical for me. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one, if possible, just to compare those two.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's something, Shadow, if you want to set up some time with me and Brad and that team to talk specifics around that, we can. Just let me know when you're available.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Brad's been playing. Brad and his team have been playing around with this for a while, so they're extremely excited to show capabilities of what you can do. So,
I'm extremely excited to see capabilities.
Yeah,
so that aligns.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear, because there's a lot coming.
Yes. Any other questions?
Maybe one. So we hit on points with Copilot and Microsoft products and integration there. I remember hearing you say something about it going out and talking to Chat GPT things and stuff. So it can also do like programming language things as well, right? You can ask it to do things with PowerShell and command prompt and
convert from one to the other, that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Even coding. You can ask it to do all. I mean, it's just amazing. I know ChatGPT. A lot of that is just for you asking questions, gives you content. Copilot brings much more to that, right? It's not just content. It's building things. It's scheduling. It's in Outlook. It's in Word. So there's so much more to offer through Copilot.
Oh yeah. So the point for that is GitHub. If you're familiar with GitHub, it's integrated with Copilot as well, where it can help you, produce code and a lot of lines. Especially, it'll learn on what exactly you're trying to do, and then it'll help you create that as well.
What about features with content filtering, like so the employees can't actually search for things they're not supposed to at work? Are there settings that we can modify to adjust what is available to be responded to? Okay.
Yes, I mean, you have full control of it, right? It's going to mirror what you guys currently have set up in your 365, all the securities.
So would that be like a safe search thing?
And so yes, and so you can even modify it even more. So if you're talking more about your chat, right, doing the chat searches and everything like that, you can fully control those as well. You can have securities on top of that to make sure that certain things aren't searched, safe searching, things like that. You can control all of it.
You mentioned the integration with GitHub. Is there going to be similar like integrations in Azure DevOps?
We haven't heard anything specifically on that, unless you have, Eric. But eventually, yes. I think they were doing some sort of testing or planning or something around Azure. I do believe they'll have something for that, especially for being able to manage your VMs and things like that. But I don't have any information on it right this second.
Okay, awesome. Because we use. Okay, yeah, perfect.
No, that's a good question. I mean, all these things, it's brand new and things are just trickling in right now.
Right.
As we find out more, you guys will get that as well.
Absolutely. This is, 101 as far as the start here. So as our team finds out more capabilities, features that we think is important to our customers, they need to know about it. Believe me, we'll be setting up some follow-up webinars like this to make sure you're well educated on what the capabilities are, what Davenport Group capabilities are to help you integrate Copilot. But we wanted to, it's obviously something that's new, something that is a hot topic. You're probably getting asked by your bosses asking, hey, should we, start using Copilot in our organizations? I just heard this thing is out. So we wanted to give you as much information as a starting point, but I encourage you each to follow up with your account executives that'll be reaching out for more deeper conversations specific to your organization and how we can help. And we're even, putting you in a drawing to win a stove to do that. But we also want to thank you for attending today. We know this was a very popular subject, and we really appreciate the questions and all the content today was fantastic. But this is really just a starting point. But to thank you for joining specifically today, we'd like to send you a customized snack box from Snack Magic. All you need to do is email marketing@davenportgroup.com with the word Copilot in it to prove you were here today and listened all the way through. But really appreciate all the participation today. I know some folks have said they got to jump, but we will be following up. We know there's going to have some follow-up conversations. We know you're going to be laying tonight, maybe in bed thinking, oh man, we could do that. These ideas will come. And that's what today was all about, was to start those things thinking about where you can integrate Copilot into your organization to make everybody's jobs easier, make you more productive, make it just more fun to utilize these tools. And that's what I get excited about is, hey, this is just kind of cool to learn about the different capabilities. So I encourage you all to follow up with your account executives and meet with them and talk with our great team we have here at Davenport Group, because we can definitely help you in a lot of different ways. So thank you everybody for your time today. We will go ahead and say goodbye, but we'll stick on here for a few more minutes, just if anybody has any questions and want to talk to Eric and Nate. But appreciate everybody today. Thank you for the virtual claps. I felt this was good, and we'll be in touch.
Can you clarify? Yeah, we just email marketing there with that, and that's it.
Yeah, email marketing. Just put Copilot in the subject line, and they'll be getting in touch with you on where to ship the snacks and send you over your how you get the snack magic pack. It's good stuff too. Yes. Nate, Eric, great stuff. I really appreciate y'all sharing all this, and I really like the Teams demo, because I know that me and a lot of folks that in what I do, and heck, probably a lot of folks that were listening today, spend about half your time in Teams now. So that was really good stuff.
Yeah, Teams is the one-stop shop now. You can do everything through Teams. So I'm glad.
Yeah, especially with web page integration and all the apps and things. You literally do everything from Teams.
Everything, yes.
Except for the standalone products that aren't available on the web.
Yeah. Right. Skype may have been a good purchase for Microsoft. So.
Right.
Sure. Did we have any other questions for Eric or Nate?
Yeah, always happy to help.
Cool. Well, again, appreciate everybody's time today. Nate, Eric, thank you very much for the time and information today. I think this is a great starting off point for all of our customers and potential customers and working with us. Like I said, for everybody that's still listening in here, we will be following up, and everybody have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for joining us here today. Have a good one.